There's a singer-songwriter named Stephen Curtis Chapman, and he has this song that I love called 11/6/64. And he talks about how this day changed his whole life. And he says even though he was only 4 years old, he knows that he laughed and played better on that day than any other day before. And yet he doesn't tell you exactly what happened until the second verse. And you end up finding out that that's the same day that his wife was born. And he says that day changed his whole life. And I started thinking about a very significant day in my life. I'm talking about September 18th, 1948. If that day didn't happen, I wouldn't be here right now. You wouldn't be listening to the sound of my voice, literally. Because that's the day that my mother was born. She's celebrating 70 years of life. And I just want to give her a special shout out because she's so full of life and energy at 70 years old. I mean, we just celebrated her birthday on a cruise ship. It was two of my siblings and myself. We got a chance to celebrate with my mom. We had an amazing time, but I feel like my mom had more energy than all of us, maybe more energy than anyone else on the ship. She had Anthony Hamilton cracking up. She had Gary Owens cracking up. She just had a great time, and just looking at her and looking at her energy showed me that's how I want to be when I'm 70 years old. I want to have that same life and energy, but I just want to pay special tribute to her right quick. Number one, she makes friends everywhere she goes, even if she's in a different country. She came to visit me when I lived in Korea about, I would say, 7 years ago. At the time, I knew she was going to be moving around the country, so I made sure to get her a cell phone so I could contact her because I knew that, because I had to work, I knew I couldn't go every single place with her. I remember one day she left around 2 o'clock. By the time I looked up, it was 11 p.m. So I kind of got worried. It's like the roles reversed. I felt like I was a parent and she was a child. So I had to call my mom like, Mommy, where are you at? And she was like, oh, I'm at the diner with friends. I'm like, friends? You're in Korea. What are you talking about? So she gives this guy the phone, and this guy's like, hey, my name's Greg. I'm here with my wife, Michelle. We're just hanging out with your mom, having a great time at All American Diner. I love that place, by the way. And I was like, yo, this is so crazy. My mom's in a different country, already made friends, but that's the way she's always been. You could leave my mom in a grocery store for like 10 minutes and she's over there having a deep conversation with somebody. And you would think she knew them for like 10 or 15 years. She just met them because that's how my mom makes friends. Now, when I was a kid, it was a little annoying because you'd be at church in the parking lot for about 30, 45 minutes, an hour after service. You're like, Mommy, we're in the car and we're hot because it's Arizona. There's this thing called the telephone where you just get people's numbers and then you type those numbers in and it calls them. So you can continue these conversations at a later date. I think the other thing that's great about my mom is that she's 70 years old, and it seems like a lot of times when people get older, they start to become more set in their ways, more sedentary, less open to new experiences. My mom is the exact opposite. She's literally listening to Afrobeats music now. She's listening to Cardi B. She's about to go see Jay-Z and Beyonce in concert while still praising the Lord. You know what I'm saying? The fact that she's able to enjoy life and to be going on cruises and traveling the world right now, I'm just so proud of the way that she's living her life. Like, that's the same energy I want to have at 70 years old. Yo, my mom be turning up, but it really makes sense when I think about it because it was only a few years back that she had 2 aneurysms in her brain and she had to have brain surgery. And literally, I remember being in the hospital, being super nervous, flying all the way back from Korea to be with her and my siblings, and we were all a little shook. We didn't know really how to be. But my mom was still in the hospital, had everyone cracking up, including the doctors. I'm like, yo, this is so crazy that she has this much optimism and this much joy and energy that she's even giving it to her caretakers. She keeps it so real that she'll tell you self-deprecating stories about her being in the DMV and her wig falling off, or being at a fancy party and calling a doctor infamous because she didn't realize the word had a negative connotation. Like, the fact that she's able to roll with the punches because she doesn't take life so seriously is seriously one of my favorite things about my mom. Another thing is my mom is a woman of faith, not just in word, I'm talking about in deed. Whether it is serving homeless people or, working at a shelter for battered women, or she started an organization for teen mothers when she was at the high school and making them feel good about themselves, giving them the resources that they need to prepare for being a teen mom, so that they didn't have to feel like they were being isolated. She gave them a sense of community and brought them together, and it was such a beautiful thing to watch. but my mom has done this time and time again, serving communities that really need it. So in closing, I just want to tell you that I miss you, I love you, and happy birthday. If you're watching this video right now and you're like, oh, that's so sweet, he made a video for his mom, we should all be doing the exact same thing. Let's give people roses while they can smell them, especially our parents. We never know how long we're gonna have them with us. If this video inspired you, please share it, and please watch all of the other I of Elliott videos. You can find them on Facebook. You can also find them on YouTube. Just search I of Elliott.